ole, 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 RTDB. Go! Irish! All right. Notre Dame, Sun Bowl champions of 2023. Welcome to the Fighting Irish Faithful podcast. I am Joe at Faithful_Irish. I am joined with my brother.
And I am Mike at Red Snapper 9098.
This time I introduced myself, not you. We didn't do this.
Well, you know, I was ready just in case I didn't.
I almost fucked it up too. If anyone missed our last show, we introduced each other. We were very polite last week, but yeah. Good stuff. Good times. Thank you for joining us on the Fighting Irish Faithful show, part of Leprechauns Media. We're very, very happy to be podcasting tonight because this Cotton Bowl is absolute dog shit. And also, like, I had other stuff going on here at home. Would have liked to have done it immediately after the game, but hey, other duties in the house. Not my wife going into labor. That is still potentially happening, but I think we're at a state where we can podcast. We might have to take a poll.
If the alarm goes off on the Baby Irish Watch 2.0.
That's right. If all of a sudden we hear the Death Star siren, we know, podcast is over. Although she could play a really mean prank on me and be like, oh, my water just broke. And like, oh my God, get out. No, we're not doing that.
Her, that's not too far out of the possibility.
Yeah, she knows I take the podcast a little seriously. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. We'll get to the people immediately. We got Coach Barsigian in here who gave me a thumbs down earlier, but that's fine. He keeps us honest. Ole, Coach Barsigian. Welcome to the show, Volume 118. Fading the music out. Ready to bring you in, Coach. Pink button, lower left-hand corner.
He's finishing chewing, I think.
His Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's all right, man.
It's all good.
Glad you're with us, Coach.
It's about time we whip somebody's ass in a game that actually matters.
Killed them.
Even though it's a mediocre bowl, hey, it's a bowl game. You got to win them.
Hey, I got receipts from the 2000 year when we got curb stomped by Oregon State. So beating them by 32 makes me feel really good about my life right now, which is surprisingly the same margin of defeat Notre Dame had in that 2000 Fiesta Bowl. We lost 41-9. So this kind of erases that, right? Like this, okay,
yes.
We're even now, right?
Probably the most
we're not even, but...
The most disappointing thing about this bowl game was at the very end, they were interviewing Freeman, and they said 19 wins in his first 2 years, ties Charlie Weiss for most all-time in his first 2 years, and I'm just like, fucking Clemson.
Yeah, it definitely should have been higher, and anyone who's watching this Cotton Bowl tonight be like, geez, Notre Dame could walk the floor with either of these teams tonight. You know, just what was really telling for me, despite the fact that the CBS broadcast crew was inventing players that don't exist on Notre Dame's roster, they did point out something that I did appreciate, which was despite the departure of Hartman, despite the vacuum that was at our receivers room, and
the offensive line being
losing a someone who's opting out for the NFL. Estime, let's not forget him. Notre Dame's depth at these backup positions is awesome.
Dude, that was phenomenal.
It was
the offensive line looked great,
and they looked better as the game went on. Like they could have put up 50 on this team, and they took the brakes off. They're putting the seniors from the practice squad in at this point. It's like, who the fuck is this guy carrying the ball? I've never seen this guy out there at all. So good stuff, good times, and makes you really feel good about. Yes, okay. Oregon State is depleted, but so were we. But yes, we have more depth. You
wouldn't have thought it.
You look at that offensive personnel grouping, I don't care if it was the first offensive series or the last offensive series. Very few of those guys played more than 2 snaps together throughout the entire season. And you look at the fact that they actually looked like a cohesive team that had been playing a couple weeks together. Like, that looked awesome. And yes, the wealth of riches we have in the running back room was evident.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. And I was very curious because they were putting up statistics over, okay, this is how many yards Notre Dame has, and we'll break down a lot of that tonight. The one that really jumped off the page, and I kind of stopped tracking this just because I didn't see it significant with national champions, but tonight it was so evident and pivotal for Notre Dame's offense. First off, Notre Dame only had possession of the ball 9 times. Okay, so that's actually kind of low compared to pretty much any other game this season. Maybe the Ohio State game. I'd have to verify that. Notre Dame. Go ahead, Coach.
I was going to say, did we ever figure out who was calling plays? Because
Goodouille.
Brad Gary had no idea who it was.
I know Notre Dame or Coach Freeman announced that Gino Goodouille was calling plays. But no, Notre Dame had a time of possession advantage by about 20 minutes. They held the ball for 2/3 of the game. 40 minutes, 11 seconds to Notre Dame, 19 minutes, 49 seconds for Oregon State.
Because we ran the ball.
That's correct.
3/4 of the time.
Oh, it's almost so close. So Red Snapper is getting to my RTDB juices here right now. Let me pull up that page. I have this number here. All right. Red Snapper said we ran the ball 71% of the time. Coach Parsegian, and we'll just bring everybody on that we see him. Coach W, I see you there. Dr. Abby, I see you there. Bring everyone to speak. Everyone can play.
Are you asking me for my guess on the percentage of how much we ran?
Yeah, percentage, guess. How many, as far as play selection, how many of them are runs?
I'm going to say 67%.
67%.
I want to say they threw a graphic up for that.
Yeah, it was really high when I was looking, and I posted a tweet about it. It's 71.6% of the time. This is one of the highest I've seen. Now it's not as high, believe it or not, as the Stanford game. Stanford we actually ran more, 76% of the time, which is crazy. But we had 4 more plays this game. We had 67 plays to Oregon State's 44 plays. Now, flip that with the Stanford game. Stanford had 73 plays to our 63 plays. So it just shows one team basically had the ball for a crazy amount of time. Now, we didn't have as many rushing yards as we did in the Stanford game. Granted, we didn't have Estime on the field. But we had 236 yards. They had 2. 2.
When I was looking at the stats for the game, the thing that jumped off the page to me was, even though there was a discrepancy between the run pass percentage, was how close and almost parallel the yardage was between the two.
Yardage. I mean, we had 9.
Our passing yards and our rushing yards, I think, are within 30 yards of each other?
They're smaller than that.
How many yards rushing did Oregon State have? 1?
2.
2 yards.
Yeah, Notre Dame is very even distribution as far as yardage goes. Angeli had 232 passing yards. The team, Notre Dame, had 236 yards. So very, very even.
Yeah. It's like what I tweeted earlier tonight, though. It is amazing how the common denominator for the deficiency in this offense was Gerard Parker.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, it just the formations we were running. We ran Wildcat at one point. Now the trick play, I don't know if that was necessary. I think we could have just run it down. That's the one we went for it, I think, on 4th down, and we fucked up, on the goal line. But then it resulted in a safety for us, so that's cool. But I don't know. I haven't seen Notre Dame in a game that matters come out like this ever, quite frankly. Bowl game. I guess you could say the Sun Bowl, in 2010. But I mean, let's face it, that game was a complete shit show. Like Miami had a crazy amount of turnovers, and it was the Michael Floyd show. If anyone wants to recall, and go look at the box score of that game, like Michael Floyd just destroyed everybody on Miami. They could do nothing to guard him. Whereas Notre Dame, face on obviously was great. He was quite the target as well. He had 115 yards through the air, and he had 5 receptions.
Apparently got lacrosse practice in the morning at 8:00.
Yeah,
so.
I remember seeing something like that. But Jaden Thomas had 4 receptions for 59 yards, so he's not close behind him. But he still averaged 14.8. He had a touchdown as well. Jeremiah Love had a touchdown. That was sweet. Chase Ketterer, I've never heard of him before, but he gets a touchdown right at the end, in garbage time to make us
squad fullback.
Yeah, hit the fullback. Talk dirty to me, but no, he's he ends up getting in there and making his contribution and punching us into the 40s. It's great. I'm a happy camper. And and I was thinking about okay, let's take this. We had number one, we finished the year with 10 wins. All right, double-digit wins is huge for a new coach. And now we're going into magical year 3, Notre Dame, right? So we'll talk all about that, I'm sure. You win your bowl game, you got a lot of momentum. Your star of the bowl game was your backup quarterback basically for the season, who looked like he could have been the starter arguably all year. Now, we don't need to have that conversation tonight, but the way he operated today did not look like he panicked too much. Now, he was kind of stupid and tried to hurdle someone. I don't know if that was necessary, which resulted in a fumble. Thank God he has offensive linemen that are falling.
All that Hartman does, I'll give him that.
Well, I mean, Hartman did that one flip thing against Tennessee State, I guess. But regardless, you have that momentum. We have a top 10 recruiting class we just got again. We hold on to our defensive coordinator. We bring in arguably the best offensive coordinator in the country into Notre Dame. Where are the holes? I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, but I'm not seeing anything right now. Yes, we had 3 losses this year. I get it. But if I just take the momentum this team has going into next year already, and yes, we're already talking about, Texas A&M in the spring game and stuff down the road, but who's not thinking about that already? It's like I want to watch them play tomorrow. I want to watch them play next week.
Oh, dude, the defense, I am salivating to see if Watt stays. I want to see the defense as much.
If that happens, we will do a show. I guarantee it.
Remain intact, because I mean, think about it from this: you have Cross stay, had a
Howard
game,
Cross
a beast, and then the fact that you've got this defense that is just ball hawking everyone. The secondary did a great job closing down on people today. Yep. Very few times did they even have the opportunity to get open. So we covered extremely well. I would not be surprised if Al Golden's sitting there saying, hey, if you guys thought we did well this year, just wait till next year.
Right.
And all of you have got your stock where you think you're going to go probably 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Just wait till next year. You'll be a first rounder. That should be the dialogue coming from not only Al Golden, but now the offense as well. Once we get that rolling,
yeah, the opportunities for this defense and to see Al Golden, really start to hit his stride. Like he made tremendous improvements, and I don't have that all completely broken down. Comparing last year to this year, right? On the same tab, but you look at the progress, like red zone defense, for example, or just even the amount of points we limited our opponents to, right? It's going to be fantastic. Notre Dame probably will finish in the top 10 in the rankings here at the end of the season here. I mean, huge momentum, I'm a happy guy.
Oh, definitely. And it's just been probably the best just build up an overall end result and execution of a bowl game I've seen prior to the collapse that was the Fiesta Bowl 2 years ago. With the exception of that collapse, I mean, overall, the build-up, the hype, and other than a shitty field goal kicker in that game, you know, just like this year and today for the bowl game, you know, it was a fairly good bowl game.
Well, but I would make the argument that Schrader's kick today was significantly more difficult. The one he missed was significantly more difficult than the one, Jonathan Dorr missed in 2021. I would argue that because that was like a 30-yarder or something that he shanked. But
Dorr's was more impactful because it could have been a tie or a win.
That is correct. And that's why I'm saying that. Like the Dorr one hurts more than the Schrader one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my piece here. But I mean, Schrader, he is next one. So it's like, you know, I guess that's all we can ask you to do.
Well, like you said, he's a 70% guy. So.
Yeah, on the season, I think he's ranked in like 89th in the country. You know, so
but he's no Justin Union. We'll say that
he is not Justin Union. He will not be the all-time scoring leader in Notre Dame history like Yoon is. So,
but as I said, it's been a good day. My comment got featured on Always Irish Inc.'s post-game show. It was the one about Clemson.
Oh, how the fuck did we let this get away? And yeah,
pretty much like how Freeman was one win away. He tied Weiss, and that stupid Clemson game is what kept us from it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could even say the Ohio State game, right? Like the only game that we just looked awful.
Well, the way they're playing
Louisville.
right now, and how Missouri's driving at the moment, yeah.
I had one eye on this game, and I know a couple Buckeye people, and I was giving their ass a hard time, which is great. I'm like, so wait, you have a third string quarterback, right? Because you're gonna need him today. So they're in for a rude awakening, and then Ryan Day is just crying as usual. But you know what a piece of shit.
Other than that, I've been back and forth flirting with changing the moniker I use.
Like something about not liking Jared Parker or something, or
no, just dropping the coach moniker.
Why?
I don't know. I've thought about this though.
Drunk? What are you doing?
Well, I mean, I'm still celebrating Parker's demise at Notre Dame, but you know.
Well, and what's great about this game, like. You had an OC, someone be promoted as temporary OC for the game.
That just blew
everything
out of the water.
Blew it out of the water with like the second string. Like, okay, like you talk about someone's got their finger on the pulse.
But I don't
gosh.
know.
Here's what I will say, and then we'll move on, Coach, because we got Mac and Dr. Abby here who probably want to chime in.
I'll finish it up with this. As far as dropping the coach moniker, it's like, good grief. We've kind of peeled the curtain back a little bit. I'm obviously, which I mean, you're a jackass if you don't know this. I'm obviously not who I proclaim and profess to be.
Yeah, because Coach Parseghian's dead, man.
Been dead. So, I mean, if you truly think I'm who I say I am.
Is, present tense.
Anyway, if you think I'm. Like, there are people that will, like, literally on Twitter, like, argue back, like, how dare you claim to represent this? Like, fuck you, dude. You're a jackass.
If you really this is Twitter. Are you getting, like hate tweets and threats to your family? And I got your IP address, you motherfucker. Like, what?
No, just people trying to be like, there are other Notre Dame-related podcasts that have been like, how, you know, don't be that guy, quote, coach, end quote. And it's like, okay, don't be that podcast.
Those podcasts probably aren't very fun, I would argue.
Well, I've listened to them, and
I bet they have super chats, though.
No, it's not always Irish.
No, I don't. I know it's not them. I know it's someone else.
Always Irish actually likes me, so I know it's not him.
Because you call it like you see it, like he does.
But I mean, it's just like, okay, you guys want to be that, we jack off everything the university does. Okay, whatever, that's fine. That is totally up to you. I don't. But I've just flirted with, okay, I'll be who I am and where I'm from without being personal about it and just take on a completely different Twitter handle.
Well, but I don't know. Look, I will say this. You do you. You're entitled to do what you want. The fact that you are labeled as Era Parsegian is, I think, awesome and hilarious, and I encourage you to keep it. Because let me put it this way, if you get rid of it, someone else will pick it up. I guarantee it.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing that's keeping me from changing it.
Yeah, it's like if when the internet existed, you got Nike.com to start, then they have to pay you a fuck ton of money to get it. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So,
there is a Dan Devine out there. Lou Holtz is still out there, obviously. Newt Rockney is out there.
Yep. Yeah. I got to find all the other coaches.
Nobody else has what I have. So.
Well, and only Era Parsegian has joined the Fighting Irish Faithful show. I will say that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, look at that! It's Adam Down. And forgive me, guys. I'm like coughing and whatever here. I got a little under the weather. Not sure how, where, and why that happened, but that's okay. Maybe it's the stress of a baby coming.
I'm not wanting to have to fool with creating an entirely Twitter, so I don't know.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Era Parsegian has been invited to the tailgate in Stanford, not some other person. Adam Dowling.
I just want to know why Coach Era quit on Rudy the way he did. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Well, if I remember my lore, it was health reasons why he had to retire. So. But hey, Rudy was still on the team, and I actually put Rudy over today on Twitter. Joe knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
When we were throwing that piece of shit kicker we've got under the bus.
Sad, man. Well, Schrader, I think, is done with us. I will say that. I wouldn't say he was a POS, but he definitely was not just in Union. And there's hard
Coach
things.
Parsegian is going to go right from celebrating Parker's removal to Schrader's removal.
Yeah,
absolutely. If he, like I said earlier, if he'd been 90% and had a tenth of the heart of Rudiger's, he'd have made All-American.
That's great. That's great. Well, Coach, we really appreciate you. We got Adam Dowling here. Dr. Abby, you're here. You're invited to speak. I wonder if you're getting your fiance a hard time that they're struggling with the Missouri Tigers. I actually don't even know what the score is of that, even though it's on in the other room. And let's see, we got Mac here who's requested to speak. We'll bring Mac on. Merry Christmas, Mac.
What's going on, Mr. Dowling?
Yeah. What's up, Adam?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Merry Christmas.
How was your Christmas?
You sound so cheery.
Yeah, you guys happy about today?
Oh, absolutely.
This is how happy we are, okay? we are very happy. We are coming in with, greetings from Mexico here. This is how happy.
Great.
This is what we came in with. This is what we probably won't go out to this.
Sounds great.
But we're happy. I actually wanted to play this for the Fiesta Bowl 2 years ago, and that clearly didn't happen. So we played some sad music.
Down Missouri.
Hooray!
Whoop whoop!
Oh, touchdown Missouri, huh?
Yeah,
yep.
Beautiful.
All right, I got a question for Adam Dowling now. Going into next year, what do we do at quarterback?
It's peanut butter jelly time.
We already
Peanut
know.
butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at?
Is it?
Not
Where's he at?
What are you lost your mind? We already have a quarterback. He ain't even on the roster yet.
CJ Carr's on the roster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut butter jelly time might be third or fourth string next year.
I don't think it'll be fourth. I mean, I could see him being second, maybe behind Riley Leonard. I mean, look,
Maybe
the
third
guy,
or fourth.
he was 78% on his completion percentage. He threw for 232 yards. I mean,
The biggest thing I got out of
what more do we want from him?
The biggest thing I got out of his performance
3 touchdowns,
was
0 interceptions.
I
the
agree.
Composure.
He did great. He did great, but I personally, I'm not trying to hate. For what he was asked to do, he did great. He played great today. But for the overall talent at the quarterback position that Notre Dame's going to need to actually win a new playoff game, I think maybe at best he's a good backup quarterback at Notre Dame. He's not going to be the guy that's going to win a playoff game for you.
Well, okay, let me flip it around. If it's not Angeli, is it Riley Leonard?
Well, yeah, of course. We've already paid him to come.
But what? Based on what though? Like I get the NIL and transfer like angle you're using. I'm fine with that. But I'm asking you from a data standpoint. I just gave some praise to Angeli here based off of his performance today. With a vacuum at receivers where he really only had 2. One guy who's a fucking walk-on from the lacrosse team, you know. I mean, Jaden Thomas, where's he been all season? But, you know, he ends up with
been hurt.
4.
He's been hurt.
Well, that's my point, right? You know,
Yeah.
You know, Greathouse only had 2 catches for 13 yards, right? You know, so that's kind of a bummer. I mean, for crying out loud, Salerno had more yards than Greathouse did today.
That's been our issue. Is the receiver room has really been the issue.
Okay, so we got the same receivers. That's not Angeli's fault. So then how is Riley Leonard going to make that better? I'm playing devil's advocate.
Because I know for a fact, like Riley Leonard, his skill set is much greater than Angeli, Sam Hartman. It just is. Like, if we don't break Riley Leonard's leg in that game almost, he's getting talked into being maybe a first-round draft pick.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would say this. Leonard's ceiling is higher than Angeli's ceiling.
That seems
Are you willing to say that we need to then buckle down for a Heisman watch for Riley Leonard next year?
Well, if he plays well, if these receivers coming in are good.
No, I mean, does he have the potential with the ceiling you're just talking about? Should we start prepping for that? Is my question.
Yes, he has a potential, but we thought Sam Hartman had the potential too in the summer, right?
And you're saying it supersedes even Hartman's ability.
I agree. Yes, 100%. His running ability is twice as much as Angeli's or Hartman's. So he's a dual threat guy that's 6'4", 220 pounds, has a way bigger arm than Angeli, way bigger arm than Hartman. It has a ton of potential. Will he reach that potential? That's the question.
There we go.
Yeah, I think that is what it comes down to. Now, I don't have any breakdown of Riley Leonard versus Angeli or anything of the sorts, or even him versus, you know, and the sample size is limited this year because of his injury. Okay.
Has anybody?
I think it's more on potential. But, you know, his potential is greater than those guys.
Has there ever been an offensive coordinator that has gone switched schools and gone back-to-back Heisman winners?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Come on, Denbrock. You could be the first.
That would be fun.
Oh, yeah. Maybe Lincoln Riley. Is that? He was close. Or Heisman guys that were in New York.
Right. Heisman finalists.
Yeah.
I'll take Heisman finalists because that means you're in a stratosphere that's pretty darn good, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're LSU.
Yeah, which is great.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Angeli played great today. He played better than I thought he would, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and what I appreciate about Angeli is even with this Riley Leonard stuff, and and obviously we'll see what happens in the spring and whatnot. And you got CJ Carr and Minchie's in there, but I get a vibe from Angeli that he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would transfer. Now I may be eating my words later, but I don't get a look. If you're not the starter, there's a reason for that. And that means you have stuff to work on or you need to improve. And so, damn it, just work harder. But you're at Notre Dame, and how many of these guys who transfer out are like going to be like crazy, crazy good someplace else? That actually tends to be not the norm unless you're a transcendent type of guy. Okay.
Yeah. Can you remember like anybody that transferred out that's been great somewhere else?
Well, not for Notre Dame. I will say that. There are many examples of other guys, especially at the quarterback.
No, just from
position.
Notre Dame.
Not from Notre Dame. No.
You're forgetting Phil Jerkovic. Come on, guys.
No.
Oh no, we didn't forget him.
No, he's definitely not forgotten.
I mean, I'm not hating. Don't get me wrong, everybody. Like, I'm not trying to hate on Angeli. I think he's done a great.
Such a hater, man. I'm
not hating on him.
We're trying to have a party here, and you're just like, I want Riley Leonard.
Oh, I think he's great. Like, I just think that the quarterback room is on the way to getting definitely elite. It's on the way.
Agreed.
It's coming, and he would just be a second or third string guy coming up soon.
Yeah.
He does, but if he went to a school like Northwestern or Purdue, or he'd be a starter. But the problem is the room is about to get elite.
Well, and that's exactly my take on Tuesday. Was previous to Tuesday, I was like, no, I don't want to see Riley Leonard. I don't want, I want Angeli to have QB1 going into next year. I love that this is a champagne problem. That even if the basement is Angeli for us, then that quarterback competition come spring and fall ball is going to be crazy good before the season starts. And iron sharpens iron. So CJ Carr, get in there, show your talent. Let's see what you can do coming in as a freshman. Riley Leonard, it's his job to lose. I 100% agree with you, but I think Angeli is going to give him a greater push than he thinks.
Yeah, and it's fine. Whatever. If Angeli beats him out in the spring and fall, then he beats him out.
Yeah.
And
I think with a new offensive system, and I think with Gaduli in there, an experienced quarterback coach, and he's had to do this now already. We will see.
And Brock have worked together before.
Yes, they have.
Yes.
So that it's not like you're going to have, this translation error of apples to oranges.
And the receiver coach too has worked with them too.
Exactly. We're getting the back together.
Who did they get at receiver coach?
Brandon.
Mike Brown.
From Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at Cincinnati before.
Oh, that's
too.
right. That's right. I had angry tweets about that. That's right.
So you weren't angry about Denbrock, who was at Cincinnati?
No. Why would I? He had one of the best. And actually, when I did more reflection and research off of his resume or experience or whatever, what really sold it for me was when I recalled that he is returning to Notre Dame for the second time. This is his third lap at Notre Dame.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. Originally
under Willingham, then was under Kelly, and now is back with Freeman, which tells me if you come back a third time, that means that like you're happy to be part of Notre Dame. Okay. And a lot of the other uncertainties that come with a new job or a new location or new coaching position, that you're undertaking, he doesn't have to worry about any of that. Because he's done it before and quite recently, showed great success. And this is the best thing, right? You have one of the best offenses in the country that produces a Heisman Trophy quarterback, right? So that makes you feel good. There's a lot of momentum that he will carry with him, and that will help advance Notre Dame going into the 2024 season.
Yeah, and if you guys can remember, his offenses were good in 15, and even in 16, the defense was terrible.
Defense was bad. Offense just seemed to like, I don't know. Like some days it's like, who's calling the plays, and like because they had like the whole like Mike Sanford experiment, and who knows what the hell was happening with that. Sometimes Kelly's took the play sheet and he's calling the plays. So you never really felt like they had full autonomy. I definitely know that Denbrock is the one who called that LSU Music City Bowl game where Notre Dame comes out and runs the ball like 65% of the time, which was amazing. That's the kind of stuff that makes me feel really good. I mean, we're running power running most of the game.
Dude,
we're under center in multiple sets. We're running between the tackles.
Like, I need a bell. I need a bell.
I'm like running in the other room to hit the bell. I'm like I may need to be alone for a little bit, thinking about how beautiful the running was today. And we didn't even have Estime in there, and you were sharing the ball with Price and Payne, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
That's what football is supposed to be. That's what Notre Dame football and the fans, quite frankly, want to see. A lot of people want to see us chucking it deep, but we did that too.
That's why we should be happy too, because that brand new young offensive line played good. And moving forward, we're going to have a old guy that just wants to call ball. He just wants to call plays on offense. He's not looking to be a head coach somewhere. He's not looking to be the head coach at Notre Dame. And then we're going to have a guy on defense that is an old guy that just likes to call ball. He ain't looking to move to be a head coach somewhere.
He's not distracted, right?
He can Marcus can just do his thing, being the CEO and the face of the Notre Dame football program, and he's got it perfect, where he's got two guys he can trust to call the games.
Well, and I think it goes both ways. They trust him to not get in the way and fuck things up the way Kelly used to, right?
Yeah.
Or Weiss would like oh well we're gonna hand play calling over to Mike Haywood or whatever, and it's like I don't know about that, but it's just like, son of a bitch, like be a game manager, be a player's coach, go out there and kiss the babies if you have to. I don't care. He ends up being the guy that he has to do something that's impactful with this team, because he's the one that's getting the Gatorade shower and the Frosted Flakes rain on him, right?
I think it's finally getting to the point where he's kind of making it his team, his program.
Oh, sure.
He was kind of, it's year 3. And I truly believe that most of our position groups look dang good in depth. Mm-hmm. The only thing is the quarterback and the receivers.
Yeah.
And and that's huge in today's college football. So the faster that can get up to speed is when we'll be a legit contender. But every other group, like our defensive backs look awesome, the young guys. Our linebackers look awesome. Our O-line, we put a whole new O-line out there. You almost look better than the guys that started this season.
They look so good.
Our tight ends are great. Like, our running backs look great. It's the quarterback and receiver room.
And it's not like we're not going to have the talent at quarterback. It literally is just the question mark.
Yeah.
The receiver room is, we need some talent. Yeah, we've got a couple transferring in, and we got to see how Greathouse and Faison continue next year. All of that is going to be a mixed bag where quarterback is a question mark, but there's no question of the talent in the room. We need to make sure we get the talent in the room for the receivers.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to just do from previous year recruiting. Like, those kind of players just aren't in the portal. Like, good receivers are going to the NFL. They're not, like, in the portal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and you've got guys who are either receiver number 2 or receiver 1 who is injured, and they know that they need another year to elevate their game and elevate their status.
And we have a lot of solid, like, number 2 or number 3 receivers, but we just need that one guy, which might be Cam Williams, that can just scare people, that they can run by you.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's a 4-star recruit. He is the number 2 recruit in all of the state of Illinois, so that's cool. And he's got Carr that's coming in with him, and I think you're onto something here, Adam, because we definitely do need that kind of go-to receiver guy. That's like your Golden Tate, Michael Floyd, Jeff Samardzija kind of guy. Okay, we haven't had that for a little while. Yeah, Will Fuller was definitely that guy in 2015, right? We haven't had that probably since, I'd argue, 2019, right?
Yeah, like Boykin era with
Claypool.
It was like the last time we had like legit dudes at receiver.
Yeah.
I think one of the better parts of it too is we actually had freshmen play this year. We're gonna see freshmen play next year. The best player is gonna be on the field. So this of years past where freshmen don't play, sorry, that ain't gonna happen. So that to me tells me, heck, if CJ Carr balls out, Riley Leonard may be the backup. So
maybe. I mean, we'll see. But think about like the quarterback room next year. If the guys stay, which I doubt all of them are going to stay, is going to be Leonard, Carr, Minchie, and Angeli. But I can almost guarantee someone's going to leave.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, you do need a couple guys back there. I want everybody to stay, right? We've had this conversation multiple times, but reality says that may not be the case. But I would also argue that it would be my hope that it's like, look, these guys knew where they were going to end up kind of in the pecking order, or what was the quarterback room? What did it look like when they signed with Notre Dame? Right. So like, let's take Minchie, for example. He knew that Angeli was there. He knew that Notre Dame was looking at CJ Carr at the time. Okay. And that was pretty much a lock even a year ago. Right. So he knew that was going to happen. Now maybe he didn't anticipate Coach Freeman going to the transfer portal 2 years in a row to get quarterbacks from the ACC, right? So maybe that's the wild card that would push him to want to transfer. But I would also argue it's like, well, okay, you're going to transfer to where? Where are you going to go that you think you're going to get playing time, right? We've had a number of Notre Dame quarterbacks who have left, and that has not been the case. The one that got the most playing time was Everett Golson, but by the end of the season, he wasn't playing much at Florida State.
Yeah. One thing I would say is,
welcome back, Mac.
Hey, how are you? I've been on baby duty. I've been on baby duty a lot.
That might be me tomorrow. I don't know.
No,
your near future for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everyone was saying, "Oh, you're not going to have as much time," and now I'm seeing it.
You do not.
I will say one thing. I think this year and a little bit of last year, that this team is I think we'd all agree. I think this is a defensive team, and that's the strength. And
yes, please.
We were talking about getting an elite wide receiver. I don't know that you need that. You just need if you can have a good line and control possession of the game, and maybe just have a guy who can go and run and give you 6 yards over the middle, quick slants, you could win. Just like we saw today, they threw one downfield really to the sideline throw, but really I think you could control these games. I think that's the direction Notre Dame could look. I think it's kind of exciting because even if you look at their hardest game, I think we'd all agree was Ohio State game.
Sure.
That was a low scoring game, and if they can possess the ball and be smart with it, and you only need a quarterback to give you 232 yards like they did and just possess, I think they blow Ohio State out. I think they made a couple mistakes, but I think that's
more than a couple.
Well, but I think that's where Notre Dame is heading. I don't know that they need a elite receiver, just a guy who can give you a yard separation and go across, run a good route. He doesn't need to necessarily spread the field, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I may agree with you, yet disagree with you. Only in the, and then I'll throw it over to Red Snapper. Number one, and I agree that football is definitely a team sport. Where I disagree is when I do my statistical analysis over the last 10 years, every team that's won the title, the second most important stat is passing touchdowns. So maybe those teams, and I haven't broken down what that actually means at the individual player production Pareto chart. There's some alliteration for you of how many passes these guys are catching. Like obviously Alabama, has had elite receivers and some of these other teams, right? What is the percentage of passing touchdowns that those guys are responsible for catching, right, in the end zone, that is driving that statistic to be so significant, to be the second most important statistic behind total touchdowns. So you do need to score passing touchdowns, and then back to kind of give Adam some credit here. It helps a lot when it is a go-to sure-handed guy like a Marvin Harrison, although he's not very sure-handed because he decided to opt out, right?
But what I was going to say is the part that I'll disagree is you need that elite talent to stretch the field. And by doing that, you keep the defense honest. So they can't load up the box, so they can't overplay on the run. That's one of the hardest parts of this season is we didn't have somebody who could stretch the field. Now, I also don't think Jared Parker was calling plays to give the guys on the squad the advantage with crossing routes and other things that they can throw themselves open with the plays and the routes. But the other side of that is you want that one elite guy who can take the top off. You want that guy who's 3 strides ahead, and you've got a quarterback that can just drop it in the basket.
Well, and it's bees to honey, right? It's a disruption to another defense when it's like, oh, we really got to make sure we cover, Jeff Samardzija, right? Because we're really going to have to like key him. We're going to have to call out like a switch, if they're doing some sort of crossing thing, or we're going to have to go like double team him or so. It's a real disruption to a defense. I mean, Kevin Davis isn't on here to really illustrate this further, but when you have a go-to receiver that you are genuinely concerned about on the defense, it causes a distraction and disruption. And I would argue that allows the pass to open up the run.
I would also, but all I'm saying is I think you just need a good route runner. Like, I think we could all agree, okay, when you were saying Marvin Harrison, that's a different tier than like a Michael Mayer. If a Michael Mayer was on this team this year, that's the type of talent that, and I don't think I'm not trying to put down Michael Mayer, but he's not Marvin Harrison Jr., where you're talking like elite tier receiver. He's a tight end. That's my point. Is that's all I think Notre Dame is missing if you're going to play that certain style. I think they beat Ohio State if they have a receiver like a Michael Mayer, and also scoring the passing touchdowns. I think a lot of that is just scheme and getting guys open in the red zone. And I don't think that Notre Dame did that very well passing wise this year.
Fair enough.
No, I mean, am I wrong on that?
I mean, well, I'll let Adam Dowling rebuttal on that if he wants, but
I think Gino Guidugli showed you today that with the talent we had this year, we could have play called better for our receivers.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a theme song I had to give to Gino Guidugli, it's this. It's like Guile theme goes with everything. It seriously does. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up on the internet. It's amazing. Gino Guidugli's offense went with everything. It made so much sense. And then like when he did the Wildcat in the red zone, I literally jumped off the couch. I was like, what? Like, I don't know if someone was shaken up or he's just like, yeah, let's just fuck with him now, and then we'll do this. Like,
and that he could have done because we weren't stopping the run, and we were having just good passes, whether they were little hitch routes, but they ran great routes. Like,
well, it's not like the whole offense was different. Like, I can't put my finger on like it has to just be the down distance and play calling selection. But like the route running was so much more crisp, it seems, today, right?
Thomas' route was an inside hitch route that was layered on a corner. The corner cleared out, and he just went right into the vacated spot. That's a route being run to get you open.
And they weren't doing anything crazy. Like Faison, when he got his really long, like 50-yard pass, right? And then they ran it again later in the game, right? And I think it was incomplete or something. But he was the number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
And the number 1 receiver, the outside guy, runs like a 10-yard in or a hitch or something. And it's all about reading the safety in the corner. And it's like, it's a simple read. It's a simple play. And the timing in which they did it, down in distance, field position, etc., made perfect sense. It was such beautiful play calling. They weren't running, fucking screens and shit on 3rd and long or whatever. Like it was beautiful. And we're running between the tackles. I'm just happy. I'm so happy.
It was just normal play calling, just good play calling.
All I've wanted was just like a warm bowl of soup for the offense, instead of picking up saltine cracker crumbs and trying to make a meal out of it, right?
It actually made sense. It actually was like setting stuff up.
Yes, I agree.
It wasn't just like throwing stuff at the wall and see what works.
I agree, and it set Angeli, who's inexperienced quarterback. They set him up for success in this game.
Oh yes,
they really did. It was pretty. Like, I was watching the game, and I told my wife, I said, "Geez, the play calling is so good that it's almost like I could have." Well, I mean, I couldn't, but it's like I could have made some of those throws. It was that good. The only sequence of play calling that I questioned was right before the safety. If you're going to go for it on 4th down, the way you were running, I would have ran it on 3rd down. And then you probably are at the 1-inch line at worst, and then run it. But that was the only criticism I had. I thought the play calling was so good for what you had, and especially, and it gave Angeli confidence.
Every time they showed the coach's box, all of those guys were smiling, like they were having fun.
Yeah, it was really wonderful to see. Gosh, I mean, what more could we say about the offense other than just like we're just happy?
Well, and the offensive line, they punked Oregon State. I mean, every time they got off the ball,
they owned them.
Every time they got off the ball, they were pushing their tackles back 2 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just outmanned them. I mean, it was just, I'm more machismo than you. I mean, that was pretty cool to watch.
It wasn't difficult blocking assignments either, because they were running blocks. A down block is a down block.
Guard and tackle are both pulling.
Somebody crosses your face, hit him. Like, it's not hard.
Well, and then you got someone like Ford or Love who's back there, and it's clearly a power run. You got the guard and the tackle are pulling. You got the other tackle doing a kick out or something, and instead of just grabbing the ball and running full speed and just plowing into the guard's ass, he's literally doing the Josh Adams thing where he's just waiting. Yeah. He's getting it. He's charging up like he's like a race car, like squealing his tires. And then he pulls the brake off and he's gone, and he's hitting the hole right as it's opening. The coaching was so good tonight that it's like, and maybe it's because we have more depth on our team than Oregon State. That's probably a guaranteed fact, right? When I look at my sheet here and we look at the 4-year recruiting, I mean we're 11 and a half for the last 4 years. Oregon State is 66th.
But almost all of Oregon State's defense was there. It's not like they had opt-outs. Second string replacing.
Correct. But I guess the point I'm making is regardless of whether they had first stringers or second stringers in there, on average, we have 50. We're 50 teams better on average than Oregon State as far as talent.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And then if you take into account like if you had a lot of opt-outs, which I don't think Oregon State did on their defense, it doesn't matter. This is what you're supposed to do to a team that's in the 60s in recruiting on average. I mean, it's 49, 53, 109, and 53. So there's a huge outlier there in the hundreds from 3 years ago. So it's great. I mean, fuck, play the fight song. Show's over. I mean, no, it's not. But like, there's not a whole lot more I can say. I mean, we killed them on the scoreboard. We killed them in yard points. We killed them in time of possession. We ran the ball 71% of the time. I mean, it was beautiful.
Let's get Dr. Abby's take. I see her on mute there.
I just wanted to say goodbye. Hey, I'm gonna go help with the baby. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy New Year,
also,
Mac.
Thank you for inviting me to that thing, to the thing. I can't.
Stanford.
I can't do it. I can't commit to it.
All right,
but
no worries, buddy.
I was very flattered, and I thank you for everything.
Well, you're
It's
invited
wonderful
anytime on this podcast. I do not know yet when we will do the Fighting 5-Foot Irish Nothing Faithful show, our end of the season tradition. It'll definitely be after the Natty game. So let's just bank on you coming back here after my next kid is born and after the Natty.
Congratulations, and I pray everything goes well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Everything's looking good right now. It's just got a wife that is pregnant and needs help off the couch now. So it's like, hey, need a hand up? Yep. Okay.
Take it easy, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Mac.
You too, Mac. Dr.
right.
Abby, if you're there.
Yeah, hey guys. I snuck away to a quiet space. It's not good over here.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah, it's now 14-3, so
Yeah.
3:25 left in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at this.
And they're doing close-ups of Marvin Harrison Jr.
You're in the bunker right now. You're.
Yeah. But back to our game, which was a little bit better than this. I think one thing that stood out to me was at the end when Aunt Jelly was asked by the interviewer, broadcaster, commentator, about like what the team theme kind of was or what he thought, and he said brotherhood. And one play really stuck out to me from earlier in the game where he went out of the pocket and he was running to his left and he was looking to throw downfield, but Faison, and I forget who was just behind him, but they were both blocking for someone. And it was like, that to me just kind of showed, I guess the growth of our wide receiver and our tight ends is like, they're all in. They're going to block before they try to maybe go get the ball, which obviously isn't always maybe the best move. But at the same time, I think that just shows that we're really focusing on like the holistic player, the holistic team. Everyone is working towards the same goal. And Angeli didn't have anyone to throw to, but just to see how everything was working forward really kind of excited me.
Do you see like a selfless behavior of this football team, especially today?
Yes, I definitely do. And then I had a flashback moment when Adam Dowling was speaking a little bit ago about how he's pretty in on Riley Leonard. And I was listening to your show. I was cooking dinner one night and my fiance goes, "What if Sam Hartman isn't the answer?" This was before the season. And I was like, he has to be. Like, he will be. Because at that point in time, we did not have anyone. You know, Buckner was gone. Drew Pine was now leaving. And it was like, we really don't know what we had. So, like, it has to be Sam Hartman. This year, I'm feeling a little bit more of that camaraderie, kind of that maybe selflessness, yes, just like you said, but optimism, too, of like, okay, maybe Riley Leonard, if he gets, full 6 games under his belt, isn't the answer. Like, I have confidence in someone that can come in behind him. Obviously, sample size is small, but it went, I think, just as good as anyone could have imagined.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was very reassuring. Anyone who was nervous about, oh gosh, how's this game going to go with Angeli? And we didn't talk too much about Angeli on Tuesday. But it was definitely a question of, well, I mean, we really haven't seen a whole lot of him. We've seen him in some spring game. We've seen him with, in scrub time, throw some good passes when the game really doesn't matter. Now we're going to ask him to come in like basically fresh and cold with, a limited receiver core and, kind of a patchwork offense, so to speak. And all of those concerns evaporated in the first quarter for me.
Agreed. And then talking back to recruiting, you guys were talking about earlier, I'm always been a big proponent of get that 3 rising 4-star guy or 4-star who wants to be 5 and has something to prove, because I know everyone's always like, ooh, but we have so many 5-stars. And it's like, okay, but is it going to be the me show, or are they going to want to be about this team and have something to prove? So
yeah, I'm
always really keen on our recruiting style, and I'm really excited for who we got in this year.
To play off of that, look at the difference between Faison and Mayweather.
Ohio State just fumbled the ball, Dr. Abby, and Missouri just recovered. You better go in there. You might.
The TV is on. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia now. So
okay, yeah, you might have heard some cuss words, and your fiance is always welcome over at Notre Dame.
I think we're both in too deep.
And he's always welcome to come on if he just needs to air his grievances.
Yeah. If he wants to talk about how much he doesn't like Ryan Day today, this is an avenue that we will allow that to happen.
Consider Olive Branch gifted.
Yeah, right. There has been a lot of, if nobody is fired tomorrow when the plane lands, then there's a bigger problem within the Buckeye department. But
that's right. I would really like to get Quentin on here right now. If he wants to come on, we'll happily listen. We'll be good therapists. We won't even write anything down. He can lay on the couch. He can just vent. As long as he doesn't break commandments, it's all good. All right, we won't poke the bear too much at the Buckeyes. They are kind of depleted, especially at quarterback, and apparently their quarterback wanted to go to Syracuse, which is odd, but that is what it is. It's nice to see Missouri finally beat Ohio State, something that Notre Dame still hasn't done. So I guess you could give him that one because that is a factual statement. All right, Dr. Abby, thank you so much. Really appreciate your input. Give your fiance a hug and you just say, hey, look, it'll be okay, right?
And shout out to Big Al, as always.
And Big Al, who was pretty stellar on Twitter earlier today. Excellent. All right, let's go over to Adam, who's requested to speak at Colts Fanatic 09. Welcome to the Fighting Irish Faithful Show. Adam, off of work now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got off of work and got right into the game.
Have you finished watching it?
I did. I'm currently on the halftime, start of the third quarter.
Oh, okay.
I actually just started watching the Missouri and Ohio State game.
Oh, you're coming in at the right time. Yeah, I watched the whole first half, and I was like, "This is a fucking shit show of a game."
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
So bad. First half was so terrible. 6 punts in the first half by Ohio State alone. It was so bad.
Yeah, the biggest thing I don't want to see from Ohio State fans is all the excuses that they're going to come out and say of why they lost this game. It's
you know that's going to happen. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have our quarterback. We didn't have Marvin Harrison. Okay, Notre Dame didn't have their quarterback playing.
Yeah.
We also had wide receivers that went to the transfer portal.
Keep going.
Audric Estime didn't even freaking play.
Yeah.
And our entire offensive line was gone.
Yeah, so we had a few quarterbacks that didn't play either that were going to the draft. And it's and then like you guys said too, with Steve Angeli, he's only came in kind of garbage time, freaking when we're up huge in the certain plays. So yeah, he's going to get up against second string, third stringers, and he's throwing dimes and everything. But it's you're not going up against number one, team defenses and stuff like that. But today, from what I've saw so far, I mean, he came in, was expected to start, and did that, and came in. I mean, pretty, on a makeshift offensive line that he's not really worked with today. Came in and looked calm, poised, comfortable in the pocket. even when he had rushers coming after him, he would just kind of slide out to the right or left, and then just comfortably just throw the ball down the field and give it to his receivers and make them make the play. And
If you
even
have a happy kind of smirk right now, you'll have a shit-eating grin by the end of the game.
Yeah, it's if you're only halfway through the game and Notre Dame's up 14-0, it we won't go into details, but it's a good outcome. I'll put it that way.
Enjoy the rest of the game.
The game is fun. It is a fun game. Now, this Ohio State game is kind of fun, just watching, Buckeye Nation's face melt off like they just looked at the Ark of the Covenant, right? And it's just a giant Missouri tiger there inside, freaking them the fuck out. But it really, what it comes down to for me is I don't hate Ohio State. Ryan Day is just such a bitch. It's just like, dude, just shut the fuck up and coach your team. Don't run your mouth, okay, on the media and do all this other nonsense. Okay, you clearly don't have the team together, and you're letting Missouri beat you. Okay, and your team is too focused on individual talent rather than team chemistry, and that's pretty apparent in tonight's game. So
yeah, and like being a top 10 school in the nation, like with Ohio State, you should have depth at every position, right? Like,
and they don't
you're supposed
have
to be
it.
coming in. Yeah, you're like bringing recruits to fill that depth gap and all that. And like, to be honest, like, even though all the players we lost with, holy crap, Missouri just broke off a nice run.
They're gonna go up another one.
Are they gonna score again? I just saw the time.
Yeah.
They're inside the 10.
Yeah,
I'm watching
broke a
the little
nasty run.
ticker here on the box score, the game cast.
They
It
just
looked like they were about to-
basically a
yeah.
jet sweep.
Oh
yeah, but it looked like they were in formation to just kneel it and then just faked it.
Yeah,
Nice.
It wasn't quite victory formation. It was a tight, almost pistol formation,
Mm-hmm.
and they ran a jet sweep to the short side of the field, and it was just okay. Got the corner and went up, and they're at the 11.
Yeah,
Now
now
they're
they're
in
in victory
victory
formation.
Good for
Now
them.
they're
Good for the Tigers.
But yeah, like even with like today's game, like yeah, we had all these players leave and all that stuff. We were all bummed about it when it all started happening. But then like
I would say
which shows how
freaking
much
out
depth
would
we
be
had.
a good description, especially when the receiving room just evaporated in front of us, like the fucking stock exchange just crashing. That's what the receiver room was like. Holy fuck! Does this roller coaster stop going down? Like that's what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you guys seen the Dr. Pepper's commercial about the transfer portal?
Yes.
Like that's hilarious.
Yes.
But I
So,
think it
you
showed
know
how
me-
much depth we had on this team.
You know me, and I'm always up for a good prop bet. So over under decommits on Ohio State after this just debacle of this bowl
I
game.
mean, if they've already signed, I don't know if they can like really step out of that. But no, we'll see what happens with Ohio State. Like, I will say this and talk about the team chemistry thing that Ohio State is clearly lacking. I mean, last year they were ranked. Well, fucking 24/7 is defined to be stupid right now. But last year they were 4th. I'm pretty sure they're top 5 again this year. So they are getting good players. So I don't want to be too jerky to them. Yeah, they're number 5 right now with 5 stars. Michigan's not even up here. They're 15, which is odd. What's interesting though is because I watched the Michigan Ohio State game, one team clearly has more chemistry going on, and it's not a collection of good players. It is a legit team that is on Michigan. Now, whether their success is from stealing signs and some other nonsense, that's another topic altogether. But we just want to talk about the team and the performance, and at the end of the day, here it is, right? Ohio State's now going to lose their last 2 games back to back, right? In the Michigan game and now this game against Missouri. And there's a reason for that. And it's not because they don't have talent. It's not because they don't have skilled players. It's because they don't know how to put a football team together right now. And that's really frustrating, I'm sure, for
the
for
operative
Buckeye.
word is team.
Right, exactly. And it's like, You look at Missouri. Now, Missouri was doing some stupid shit in the first half, too. They had Ohio State by the balls on their own 1, and then they get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. I'm like, you fucking moron. What are you doing? You have them backed up. Now you give them a personal foul and a first down. Like, and now they're allowed to flip the field on you, you dumbass. So like, I mean, they're not immune to it. But, I mean, Mizzou put up 14 points in this game today and, win. So we will see. We will see what happens. But, hey, Adam, enjoy the rest of the Notre Dame game. We won't go into details. It'll make you ask questions. I'll give you a little spoiler alert here. It'll make you want to have the conversation about Angeli going into next year. And should he be QB1 or Riley Leonard? These are legit points, legit arguments that we've talked a little bit tonight on both sides. So enjoy the rest of the football game.
Will do. Yeah, I'm currently watching it right now. Turn it back on.
Yeah, pour yourself some a bowl of Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, and some Hennessy and Red Bull.
Have a good one. Thank you, Adam. At Colts Fanatic 09 on the Twitter. Thank you so much. We brought AJ Desai on. At AJ Desai 4. Yo, man, how you feeling tonight?
Good. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about.
Well, pick a topic. Anything from RTDB to Angeli potentially being number 1, just to the overall chemistry of Notre Dame and the trajectory going to the next season. Where you want to go, man?
Floor is yours.
Well, what if I said if Riley Leonard could start about 6 or 7 games and then hand the throne off to Angeli? I mean, yeah.
Like, is he breaking his leg again? Like, what's the...
No one's breaking their leg or anything. No one's breaking their leg or anything. But the potential of Riley Leonard getting 20 rushing touchdowns in this Notre Dame offense under Denbrock, that's a possibility. Like, I mean, I think there's going to be more of a rushing attack from our quarterback. I mean, I think through the air we'll be lacking next year. I mean, it's not like guys, we're gonna have like a passing quarterback that's gonna come in and throw 200, 300 yards a game. It's gonna be completely different than what we're actually looking at. We're actually gonna be looking at like, a 1 or 2 rushing touchdown performance from Riley Leonard. But like, I really liked what Angeli did. I mean, I sat there, a couple of glasses of whiskey.
What are you celebrating with tonight?
What am I celebrating today?
Yeah, what whiskey you got?
I got Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden. Look at you. Look at you. I've got a Lefroy. We're finishing up this bottle tonight. The Lefroy 10-year single cast strength. We got something good.
I saw that. I was like, oh,
the sucker
man.
was bottled in January of 2018. So we're gonna finish her off tonight.
I kind of got sad because you're not sharing that with me. But anyways,
trust me, there's a lot here. Okay. Check my timeline. There's a bottle. There's actually 4 bottles, but they're all like little bottles. Thank you, Costco. And it's scotches from 4 different regions of Scotland. There's an Isla, there's a Speyside, a Highland, and a Lowland. But those are reserved till after Baby Irish Faithful Part 2.0 is born. So
fair. We can drink to that one day if we can get away from the dock. That'd be great.
Well, get away from crying baby. Yeah, that might be. You might be waiting a while. We'll find out.
Yeah, no worries.
You'd probably have better luck catching me at Mass. Okay. Or filling up the car with gas or something. Like, hey, I got to run to Costco. I'll meet you in the food court. Like, that might be really.
He hits you with a Smirnoff Ice version of scotch.
Yeah. I got a flask, man.
I'm a Sam's Club guy, though, so kind of like that. But like, you have a Costco membership, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
it's apparent. I talk about them almost every single episode.
Yeah. They're good. They're good. Sam's Club and Costco has their beef from time to time. But anyways, obviously, Great win today. I'm gonna watch a movie with my fiance. I just wanted to hop on and just say that, like,
I hope it's
obviously,
Rudy.
No, not that, but
What?
another sports movie. It's another sports movie.
Hoosiers?
No,
Friday Night Lights.
no.
All right. I don't
For
care.
love of the game.
I don't care anymore, actually.
We're
So
going baseball now.
$1. Okay.
No sports movies. Just a movie from one of the Indian movies that I know and stuff. So we're watching that tonight. So.
Major League?
No.
Like a
Not
Bollywood?
cold
Like,
classics.
It's Bollywood.
is it really? Okay.
So we're watching
All
that.
right. Well, you enjoy your Netflix and chill. We'll probably wrap up the podcast here. But AJ, appreciate you jumping on. Yeah, we've had a good show tonight. Good showing of people, and celebrating this victory here.
Yeah, take care, guys. But hopefully next year Notre Dame gets it together, get that Stanford stuff together, and then that'd be a perfect sending off for my wedding after that October 12th game. So,
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah. Still waiting on the date, but I'm hoping it's October.
All right. Sounds good, man.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Have a good one.
You too, AJ.
Thank you,
what
sir.
game are we all trying to meet up at?
Stanford.
Okay.
October 12th.
October 12th.
All right.
I sent you messages on this, bro.
Yeah. I've been busy as hell, and I'm very forgetful.
That's okay. That's why I write it down.
Yeah, that's why I should just check my DMs.
Check your DMs. Check your DMs.
You'll hear us talk about it.
Or you go back and listen to the first part of the last show we did while you're driving to work. You could pop us in. Coach Barsegian asks right away, and we lay out the details there. There it is. All right, that's at Colts Fanatic 09 coming back on. Dr. Abby, it still says your speaker. Maybe not, but that's fine. Red Snapper, anything else we need to cover? I mean, oh gosh, what a great game and what a great finish to this to exclamation this season.
And this is exactly what I was hoping for. After, our last regular season game, this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see what kind of depth we had. We clearly have got a great running back room. And, just looking at, like we talked about earlier with Adam Dowling, that it's not the talent that's the question at quarterback. It's just who is going to be, number one, number two, number three, and so forth. I look forward to that champagne problem of a quarterback competition.
Yeah.
And when you look at just the difference in offensive play calling, to me, that right there was the difference between Gaduli and Parker, was creating plays to maximize your personnel's talent. And that right there, regardless of who your quarterback is next year, regardless of the talent level that they possess, having Denbrock there to coach them up to the best of their ability, to make them play at the best of their ability, whatever the potential is for Riley Leonard or CJ Carr or Steve Angeli, whoever wins QB1, to have an offensive coordinator that's going to be able to coach him up to maximize his potential, that's the biggest takeaway I get. And we got a good point of view of that today with Gaduli.
I agree 100%. The one of the things here, we'll leave people with a stat piece tonight. We talk a lot about yards per point, right? It was very good. It was 11.7, basically on par with national champion averages. So that was great. And then the last thing I want to say is our scoring drives. So every time Notre Dame had the ball, how successful were we? We scored on 6 out of our 9 possessions. That includes the field goals we made. So if we had made the field goal, it would have been even better. We finished 67%, or 6 and 66 and repeating, right? And That is the highest it has been since the beginning of the season. In Navy, we scored on 75% of our offensive plays or offensive drives. In Tennessee State, we scored on 70%. We haven't come up to that level of productivity and success in moving the ball like we have tonight. And if you look at the talent disparity of Tennessee State and Navy compared to Oregon State, I don't care if Oregon State had second stringers in or whatever. We did too. Okay.
We saw first string defense.
And the talent disparity, and I guarantee you the talent disparity is greater with Notre Dame and Tennessee State and Notre Dame and Navy versus this, Oregon State team. And Oregon State coming into the game, had a strength of schedule that was 14. Sagarin was putting them pretty high at 14. We're 11, right? So we were better matched with Oregon State, and we dominated on the offensive side of the ball. 67% of the time successful on our scoring drives. That is fan-fucking-tastic. It's ball control. It's Notre Dame football, running between the tackles. I'm so happy to finish the season on a high note like this. This isn't like some fluky, crazy game that all of a sudden just happened to go our way. No, from the beginning, it was a slow churning drive, and then they could do nothing, we could do everything, and it was fan-fucking-tastic. I'm very happy going into the off season. It's great.
Woohoo!
It's really great.
And now the watch for Baby Irish Faithful 2.0 begins.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's really what Twitter's going to be about is all right, who's pregnant today still, or who's giving birth today. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, so we got this far, right? We didn't have the baby before the game. I made the joke to the doc last night. I was like, it'd be pretty funny if you went into labor tomorrow during the game. And I was kind of like I had a hot tide mostly because I was just feeling under the weather. I didn't have a single beer or anything till the start of the third quarter. Had nothing else to drink all day except the scotch, the celebratory scotch tonight when we started podcasting. So it's been a much more
controlled
environment. Yeah, I was gonna try to say lucid or something. Not letting the whiskey overtake my mind and mouth. But it's been a great day, and it's great day for Irish Nation. More people will probably donate in the next 2 years, or the 2 days, excuse me, to get in for their season tickets or the lottery or whatever.
Absolutely.
I already did mine, but I was just like, yeah, okay. Winning your bowl game helps tremendously with momentum and the outlook and the positivity we have after year 2 of Coach Freeman as we enter year 3. Magic
number 3.
Magic number 3. It's pretty fucking awesome. That's all I gotta say.
Awesome.
It is awesome. We'll go out, I think, with this. Seems appropriate. Well, this is the Fighting Irish Faithful Show, episode 32. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Her loyal sons are the Sun Bowl champions. Absolutely wonderful. Go out, celebrate, feel good about this, and go Irish. We'll see you after we have a baby in the house. We'll get that arranged somehow when we got a time after the Natty is done, after this year of the playoff era. 14 playoff era comes to an end, and same with the Pac-12. So. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Celebrate. Enjoy. Go Irish. And see you probably in a couple weeks. Bye.